Hello everybody, CritCrab here with another couple stories. So kick back, relax, clutch your CritCrab official gaming body pillow, and let's get right into them. Roll posts. I joined a public D&D 5e group that met at a local bookstore, and it was amazing. The DM was so talented, people brought snacks. We had a great quest and just a wonderful experience. Except this one guy. He joined a little after I did, and he made a sorcerer, just like mine. That, as he put it, was a, quote, total asshole. The sorcerer was a proud racist, sexist, bigoted homophobe who enjoyed drinking and treasure, and that's about it. Okay, fine. Play an asshole. Seems like a weird character choice, but it's not my table, and there were so many other cool people in the party that it usually didn't matter. Then he started adding the same spells I did, working towards the goals that I had set. I was working with the DM to get my sorcerer elected queen at the end of the campaign, and he also wanted to do that somehow, and trying to steal items that I had found. My character did not like him and was very vocal about that fact. I didn't like him either, but I only saw him about once a week, and had already made my concerns known to the DM, who agreed. I didn't press it. He started trying to get other people to bully my character. There was a side quest to retrieve a chest of loot from a portal to another dimension that was going very badly for our team. Several of us were drowned or nearly drowned, and we already had the item we needed. Several of us began to retreat, and he started yelling at the table about what terrible party members we were and how dare we do something without consulting him first. Our bard was limping around for a week after, but sure, dude, we will die fighting for your extra 5 pieces of gold. In real life, he had a habit of pulling out his phone and turning to some of the other guys at the table and showing them anime girls in compromising positions. After several people complained to the DM about this habit, he put a swift stop to it. He of course complained that he was just trying to be funny and no one could take a joke. Finally, towards the very end of the campaign, he pulls the DM and myself aside to, quote, tell us something privately. He launches into this explanation that boiled down to this: his sorcerer used to be this amazing, happy, kind guy that everyone in his whole village loved. His sorcerer then developed cancer, and rather than have the whole town face the unimaginable prospect of losing such a great guy, he became an asshole racist so that they would miss him less when he died. Except he found this magical flask that he had been drinking from this whole campaign, and this flask can be filled with any liquid, so he's been drinking the cure to his cancer the whole time. The DM looks a little confused, but is like, okay, good to know. I, on the other hand, am very confused. Why is he telling me this? Why would my character know this? He says that as the only other magic user in the party, not true at all, I would have realized that his flask has magic cancer-curing juice in it. What? Anyways, the campaign ended. My sorcerer became queen, and I moved away and had to leave the group. Hope that guy is out there somewhere, role-playing the racism I'm sure he wishes he could vocalize in real life. End post. The problem with the asshole character type is just that. It's an asshole character type. It can and has been pulled off well in the past, but to do that you need to add more to your character than just unfun, unsociable asshole. Because, surprise surprise, unfun characters are not fun. If you really want to play as an angry asshole, maybe be an asshole with a soft side, or an asshole who's just too comically dumb to stay mad at, or any sort of other variation. Anyways, next post. So, this is going to need a bit of context before I start. This group consisted of me, my DM friend Matt, and his player friends. I will be using fake names for them, of course. We were all in high school at the time, so we barely had any time to get together to play. So my friend Matt decides to use Discord, and we would play by typing into chat and then he would respond at any time he had the chance to. They had been playing for some time before I joined. Apparently they just got out of the dungeon and were a bit lost in some creepy woods trying to find a way back. They had already done a campaign together apparently, as the world this one took place in was post-apocalyptic due to their failure to defeat the big bad evil guy. Due to this, most major kingdoms were destroyed and smaller ones were struggling, so I was at least confident that Matt knew what he was doing. So I made a Goblin Ranger for the game. He approached the party at night and watched them from the tree line, trying to see if they had any shinies to steal or were poaching any animals. That is, until one of the players spots me, a Warforged fighter played by Jenny. Her Warforged shouts, "Declare what your purpose is or leave before I cut you down." The shouting wakes up the other party members, who come rushing out. Fearfully, I jump out at them and declare myself a local ranger trying to keep this forest safe. I lie through my teeth, saying that the forest is cursed and that anyone who tries to leave without knowing the way out gets moved elsewhere deeper into the forest. 2 of the 4 party members look at each other confused, and put away their weapons. Meanwhile, Jenny remains alert. As for the 4th player, that guy, who I shall name Ben, he takes his bard and starts to cast vicious mockery on me. I take the hit and Matt has us roll initiative. I roll higher and in a panic I start trying to talk my way out of the scenario. "Why are you attacking me?" I ask Ben's character. "Because you're clearly evil and trying to deceive us," I replied. "But I'm a humble ranger of these parts trying to help those in danger. You 3, can't you see I'm not a lower beast trying to attack you?" I say to the party members watching. The mage of the group, Dave, asks me, "Then why were you hiding from us in the first place?" "Because I had no way of knowing if you were a group of mindless bandits looking for coin and blood." At this point, my turn ends. Action used on talking. Ben, using vicious mockery, attacks me again. I start to PM Matt, asking if he could try and get Ben to stop, since I'm nearly dead already due to my guy being a squishy rogue. He says he tries to while we play. In another chat room, I'm talking out of game as well, asking why he's trying to kill me. He responds saying that the party is too full and we don't need another ranged attacker on the team anyways. Back to the game. I see that everything happening is going to end in my death, so I make a plea to the party. "Your musical warrior is clearly deranged. He attacks without cause and you all do nothing to stop him. Help me or be trapped in this forsaken forest." Jenny, taking me somewhat seriously as I rolled high on deception, cups the mouth of the bard and takes away his instrument. I thank the machine as I work out a deal with the party. With a short amount of time passing, we make a deal. I get done good for helping them as well as a ride out of the forest. When everyone but the bard agreed, Jenny released him, and he cast hideous laughter on me. I fell to the floor laughing my ass off, as he begins to cast vicious mockery again and again. In the out-of-game chat, the other players are calling him out for it, and I'm begging him not to kill me and that he and his party will regret it. See, I worked it out with the DM, Matt, that my ranger had traps all over the forest, which would make leaving rather hard. Despite my warnings and the DM's asking, he still proceeds to knock my ranger out. As I'm making my life or death rolls, he proceeds to attack me, killing my ranger. In real life, I get up from my desk, walk over to Matt, who I share a few classes with, and tell him I'm not going to be rejoining with Ben around, as he seems dead set on keeping me out of the party. I leave the Discord server after this and I angrily scrap a character I actually had some fondness of. Bit of a note after reading all the comments, DM Matt has grown up and has grown as a person. He no longer lets crap like this happen and has turned into a better DM overall. But at the time he did try to damage control, but he didn't fully punish the bard for killing me, besides having him fall into a few traps on the way out of the forest. End post. Okay, first, before I can give my personal takes on this, I just feel an urgency to say that this story was particularly funny because my name is Ben, and the person editing this video is named Matt. I don't know, I just thought it was a funny coincidence. Anyways, as much as the blame rests on the perpetrator and the DM for allowing this, in my head I'm going to personally give the DM a bit of a break because, he was a high schooler and probably just then learning how to properly handle these situations. And it looks like he did, judging by that last blurb about him not tolerating this kind of behavior anymore. So props to the DM for using a negative experience to grow into a better dungeon master. That said, the best way to handle this would have been to shut it down the moment it became clear that Ben's intent was to kill OP. Personally, I would have stopped him the moment he tried to attack because there's simply no way that could progress constructively. At that point, Ben could either get with the program and continue or get the boot. No in between. Taking control away from the player is not something that someone trying to be a good DM is known to do, but sometimes, very rarely, a good DM needs to put a character on lock and take control away from a player. I personally have an unspoken rule at my table that we just tend to avoid deadly PvP even when the party heavily disagrees. It helps that my party all make characters that complement each other and tend to share the same goals due to proper planning and communication at an established Session 0. For those who don't know, a Session 0 would prevent like 90% of these horror stories because what it does is gives everyone involved a chance to create their characters, discuss the themes and tones of the campaign, and allow everyone to say their piece before the game officially begins. A proper, well-done Session 0 is pretty much the closest you can get to a silver bullet to any preventable horror stories. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories just like these ones. Till next time.